All right, thank you for coming. My name is Kim Bachman. I work in the admissions office. Today I'm here to talk to you about dual enrollment. So what exactly is dual enrollment? We get a lot of questions. This is a very popular program here on our campus, and it enables high school students, so that's any high school student, whether it's a public school student, homeschool student, or a private school student, to be able to take college classes while they're still in high school. So you can see here they're able to participate in classes that may count for graduation requirements back on their high school transcript, or they can establish their college transcripts and take some elective credits. So how does it work? For a public school student, you are going to be released from school to come here. So it's typically either mods 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. You come in the morning or the afternoon, depending on what your schedule is. But you get approval from school. Same with our private school students and our homeschool students. You have a little bit more flexibility with when you can take classes and how it works. So right now, most of our dual enrolled students take classes in the fall semester, which is our normal 15-week semester or term, or our spring semester. Students are eligible to take college classes in any of our terms, winter and summer included. However, summer, winter, there are condensed sessions, so you're taking courses at an accelerated pace. And technically in the summer, you're not dually enrolled. You're not in high school and college at the same time, so you're not eligible for a dual enrollment discount. So in the winter time, you can certainly take accelerated courses. You do participate in dual enrollment because you are still in school. So again, you're released from school. You're given a certain amount of time to come here and take anywhere from 1 to 3 classes. So things to consider. So you don't want to just jump into a college level class and not really know what to expect. Overall, our dual enrollment students are very successful in taking the college classes, but we want to make sure that they're prepared and kind of understand what a college class entails. So things to consider would be your high school schedule. Are you taking an abundance of AP classes? If you are not necessarily an English student and you're writing a lot of essays that particular semester, maybe you want to hold off dual enrollment for another semester. Or you're taking some really challenging science classes, or if you're involved in a fall or a spring sport that takes up a lot of your time, maybe you don't want to consider those options for dual enrollment at that point. Okay, so the high school schedule, you're taking a class 5 days a week for about an hour and 20 minutes. Here in college, you're taking usually a 3-credit class, would be anywhere from an hour and 20 minutes 2 days a week, or 55 minutes 3 days a week. So your schedule is a lot looser. But you want to definitely consider transportation as well. So transportation is not provided by the public school system to come here to take classes. So you can certainly arrange your schedule. Again, I mentioned there's some flexibility with when you can take classes, either morning or afternoon, or even in the evening if that works better for you. But transportation is not provided. Okay, so in terms of who's eligible for dual enrollment, we get this question a lot. So juniors and seniors are eligible for dual enrollment. So that's whether you're a public school student, homeschool student, private school student. And to take classes here at Carroll, if you're using your GPA for placement, you should have a 3.0 GPA. We do have classes that are offered at the high school, so dual enrollment courses at CCPS locations. So we offer English and math currently, and there's going to be some more options in the future. But if you're taking an English class at your high school, so a college class at your high school, a 2.5 GPA is needed for eligibility. The other requirements are our public school students, particularly Carroll County Public School, 94% attendance rate, service hours, and they check to make sure that you've satisfied all your graduation requirements. If you're a private school student or a homeschool student, you don't necessarily have to check all these boxes, and if you're a public school student, your counselor is the one who approves you for these options. So you don't have to know what your attendance rate is. They are going to check all that information out before they even approve you to come here. So again, you're getting approved by your school to be able to come and participate in dual enrollment. So what classes can I take? So again, we get this question a lot. We have an abundance of classes. I kind of will go over that a little bit more in the future. But for high school students who are looking to take graduation requirements, you have a really specific course that you come with, usually your counselor provides some type of recommendation and says, you still need your English 12, why don't you take English 101 at the college? Or, if you're a homeschool student and you need to take a math class, you can certainly take that here at the college. So we can't advise on high school graduation requirements, but we can certainly help you register for college classes that may transfer back for graduation purposes. So again, high school can provide any recommendations for you, and they may provide, just one or two possible courses to take. Here at the college, you're able to take any class that you want to register for. So if you meet the prerequisite and the time fits your schedule, you can certainly register for that class. So we have some students who certainly work on graduation requirements, financial literacy, mathematics, etc. But we also have students who register for other classes, such as Introduction to Serial Killers, or maybe an upper level psychology class such as Human Development Through a Lifespan, so things that maybe aren't offered at your high school. So don't limit yourself by the courses. You can view all of our courses online. You don't have to log in, so it's all through our website. If you want to see when courses are offered, times, etc., availability, everything's listed online. Okay, so if you're a Carroll County Public School student, you are first going to meet with your high school counselor, and they're going to give you this form here. And again, it kind of checks off those attendance requirements, graduation requirements. So again, you don't have to check to make sure you satisfy all of those things your high school counselor is going to. And then they'll also put some recommendations in here for you as well on your form. So you have to have this form with you, which I'll talk a little bit more about in the future, to register for classes. So some of the popular dual enrollment classes, again, you're not limited by any means other than what your prerequisites enable you to take. But some of our most popular dual enrollment courses include English 101, English 102, sociology, criminal justice, math, history requirements. So our dual enrolled students tend to stick with our arts and humanities and our social and behavioral science classes because they're looking to transfer those courses or apply them to a degree program here that are very general. We understand that high school students may not exactly know what they want to do yet, and so to align them in a specific pathway may not be beneficial for them. So we try to stick with some of the general courses, introductory courses, particularly in arts and humanities and social and behavioral science. But again, you're not limited by any of these options. We have a number of students who take music classes, etc. here. All right, so what's the difference between advanced placement? So I just want to say, first of all, advanced placement and dual enrollment, both of them are great options for students. We particularly look, especially for our selective admissions programs, that students, we look to see that they've taken honors classes or AP classes, so we certainly encourage your student to be challenged in whatever direction is best for them. However, when you're taking an advanced placement course, you are not guaranteed credit. So you're taking a test at the end of that course. You have to score at least a 3, in most cases a 4 or a 5 on your AP exam in order to earn the college credit. And that could vary at whatever institution you plan to attend. And you stay at school. So that's a plus for some students who maybe have some transportation issues, but you're experiencing college curriculum in a high school setting. So again, you're taking the class 5 days a week. You're not kind of setting yourself up for that college mentality. So dual enrollment, you're taking a 15-week course if you're registered for a fall or a spring course. You have transferable credit if you earn a C. You do need transportation to the college. It's weighted the same on your transcript as an AP course, but again, you're establishing your college transcript, so you want to make sure that you're mindful of your high school load and what you really realistically can take on. So how do I get started? So if you're super interested in taking dual enrollment, and you're like, this sounds right for me, how do I begin? So for our CCPS students, they are going to first meet with their high school counselor. So again, this person is checking off all the boxes. They're going to make sure that you are satisfying high school graduation requirements. And then your next step would be to fill out a Carroll Community College application. So the form that you fill out with your counselor is not an application to the college. So we get that question very frequently. You need to apply to the college Everyone is accepted. It takes about 24 hours for it to load into our system. So if you register and then, or if you apply and then plan to register, unfortunately it can't move that quickly, so you want to make sure you give us a day for our systems. And then we need to check your prerequisites. So we need to make sure that you're eligible to take the class that you're interested in taking. So that can be either through SATs, ACTs, transcripts, etc. I'll explain more of that in a second. All right, so the enrollment application, again, must complete 24 hours prior to placement testing or course registration. It's free, and you would complete that online. Placement testing. So we test in 2 subjects, English and math. Every student needs to have valid scores for them to be able to register for a class. So there are many ways that a student can place college level. And we really encourage you to have that conversation either with your high school counselor or with us to determine eligibility. So if you just bring up your home access account and you call or come in, we can verify that you meet the eligibility requirements in one of the following ways. If you don't, then you'll have to take the placement test. So our exemptions would be SAT. So if you're taking an English class or a psychology class, sociology, business, you only need English placement, okay? So we're looking at SATs 480 in evidence-based reading and writing, ACT a 21, a 3.0 unweighted GPA if you're taking the class here, as well as the PARCC assessment. If you took the English 11 and got a 4+ on the PARCC, that would make you eligible. If you are interested in taking anything that requires a math requirement as well, such as accounting, a science class, obviously a math class, we need some math prerequisites for you. So we're looking at SAT scores of 530 to place you in general education math, which would include statistics. If you want advanced math, you'll need a 570, so that'll place you into pre-calculus. Even if you have a perfect score in the SAT, the highest that you can place with your SAT is pre-calculus. So if you want to place in a Calc 1, you will have to sit for the placement test. So again, SAT score, we get that question a lot. I have, a 760, can I take calculus? Unfortunately, no. ACT 21 for the math as well, that'll put you in Gen Ed math. And then a 24 if you want to place into pre-calculus. Or a 3.0 GPA will place you into general education math as well. So we will also take a look at some of those college and career readiness scores. So if you took the college level math portion of the AccuPlacer at your high school, if you have AP scores. So again, this is a really unique conversation based on each student. So most students will place with their unweighted GPA. So if the criteria for dual enrollment eligibility is a 3.0 for the school system, then most students are going to have the 3.0 eligibility for English and math. So typically that's kind of the easiest way to place, but if you have any questions or concerns, it's all outlined very specifically on our website, or again, you can just call us or come in and we will help you. Okay, so let's say you don't meet those qualifications, you're a homeschool student, etc. What can I do to take college classes? So you can take the placement test. So again, we test in English and math. It's free to take the placement test the first time. We have walk-in hours. So we test Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 5:30, Fridays from 10 to 2, and Saturdays from 9 to 11. You do need to bring a photo ID. Sometimes that's a little bit more challenging for our homeschool population, but you cannot test without a photo ID. You don't have to take both tests on the same day, and we really encourage you to think about when you're taking these tests, what's appropriate timing for you. So if you're thinking about doing dual enrollment multiple semesters, but the first semester you're thinking about just doing an English class, then just take the English placement test. So don't take the math placement test until you need it. Or until you've at least finished Algebra 2. Okay, so we want you to be the most successful that you can possibly be on the placement test. So the English placement test is a 25-question multiple choice. If you want to retest, it's $10 and it's an essay that you would write. For the math placement test, the first time it's free. It's up to 30 questions. It's fill in the blank. You're allowed to test 4 more times for $10 each, but you do have to review at least 5 hours within alex.com in order to be able to retake the math placement test. So when you take the placement test the first time in math, they will explain all of that to you. A student never walks away without their scores after they meet with a counselor to review all that information unless they test on a Saturday. So we'll kind of guide your student through the placement testing process once they test once. All right, so in terms of registration, you have applied to the college, you've met with your counselor, you've given us your scores, you've taken your placement test. So what is the next step? So you want to register for these classes. So you would register for these classes in the admissions office, and we do recommend that you make an appointment. So you can call the admissions office directly to schedule that appointment. There's only certain times, certain windows that the college is in a registration period. So if you're looking for summer or fall registration, that's going to be mid-April. If you're looking for winter and spring registration, that would be mid-November, okay? So you want to kind of have your application and your placement testing and your scores a few weeks out prior to that. We do recommend that our dual enrollment students register for classes sooner rather than later, because they're operating under a very specific window of time. So our traditional college students that are here, you know, it's okay if a 12:30 class is full, they can take a class at 2 o'clock. Unfortunately, dual enrollment students, for the most part, don't have that flexibility. So we do recommend that you come in to register in the first part of the registration season rather than the end of the registration season if you can help it. 8 a.m. English 101 fills up really quickly. That's a very popular dual enrollment time, 8 a.m., and a very popular dual enrollment class. Okay, so now that you're registered for classes, what do you do? So dual enrollment students are not eligible for federal financial aid, unfortunately. So they have not graduated from high school yet, so you're not eligible for aid. However, we do have a dual enrollment discount. So it's about a 25% tuition rate discount for students. So a typical class is about $516 for 3 credits. If you're taking that class here at Carroll, that cost of the course would be about $383.40. If you're taking the class at your high school, it'd be $275.40. Now tuition goes up a couple of dollars every single summer. So again, those are just approximate rates. That's what they are currently. So you can expect tuition to go up a little bit. So again, about a 25% discount for students. And then we do have a new merit-based scholarship for students if they've completed at least 2 dual enrollment classes, so 6 credits, and maintain a 3.0. And then they register at the college after they've graduated from high school. That scholarship is automatically applied to their bill if you're full-time. We also have a payment plan for students, so you can register for a payment plan. So it breaks your payment into 5 monthly installments, whichever semester you're enrolling, so August through December or January through May. And then all of our tuition information is available on the website. So there's a really specific dual enrollment link that you can go on. It outlines all the placement testing, financial information, etc. that you will need. Okay, so just to recap, dual enrollment is eligible for juniors and seniors. You do need to meet with your school counselor if you are a Carroll County Public School student. They kind of check all those things off, make sure that you're eligible for dual enrollment. You need to obtain that dual enrollment request form that lists that information on there. You need to either come in and take the placement test, or you will provide your SAT, ACT, PARCC, GPA, etc., all those scores. And then you'll need to meet with either an admissions counselor or an academic advisor to register for the class. And then you're going to take your form back to your school for final approval. And then you're going to attend new student orientation. So we really encourage all of our students to attend new student orientation, especially our dual enrollment population. So this is critical because as a high school student, you identify as a high school student, and you're thinking, well, I'm just taking one college class. why do I need to go to orientation? So the amount of information that you need to know taking your one class is about the same amount of information that a student who's taking 4 or 5 classes needs to take here. So it's really important that you stay attuned to the technology that you need to use, checking your email, resources on campus, so you're able to utilize the academic center for tutoring. You're able to participate in campus events, clubs, activities. So we want to make sure that you see yourself as a college student, not a high school student taking one college class, okay? So there's still resources available to you, so we recommend that you come to Newson Orientation. And then, of course, you want to go to class. So most of our dually enrolled students are very successful during their time here. They have a wonderful opportunity. They really get to experience what a college class is like. They transfer credits very successfully to whichever school they go to, or if they're coming here to Carroll, applying it to a degree program, but you have to go to class. So our students who, unfortunately, do not do so well in our dual enrollment courses are students who maybe are not fully participatory. They're not checking their email, they're not attending class, so they learn those lessons when they're here. So we want to make sure that we're sending that message. With the freedom of college comes a lot of responsibility as well. Okay, so thank you very much.